Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to everyone who is watching. Today we'll be looking at layout, format and mechanics of good business letters. Our focus today will be on business letters, which we will look at the layout, how the business letters is organized, the format of it, and how do you write a good business letter. So without further ado, let's look at it. First things first, we'll be looking at the formats. So letters. Letters are formal, traditional, and present your company in a positive light. This is where you write letters and then type those kinds of things, and then you submit it to the company that is you are writing to. Letters are especially appropriate when you are writing to new and prospective customers because you want to attract them, show that you are being professional, you are writing them letters. Okay, that is very important for you to remember. Okay, right. So another type of formats that we can look at is that memos. Okay, letters are somewhat more formal and more traditionally used for business transactions, but memos, they are traditional, but they are not really formal. Memos are typically written to a fellow co-workers within the company. So you write it to your fellow co-workers, your table mate, anyone that is right next to you or in the same company as you. Okay. So the format and tone is less formal than a business letter, right? So a business letter should be very formal, should be very showing professionality. But for memo, you can be less formal than that. And then we have emails. This is another part of a letter. And it is good to remember that emails have replaced letters and memos for the most part. We rarely use letters and memos now. We usually use emails. We send it to our colleagues or another company through email to contact them. Especially it comes to routine business matters. Okay. So everything you want to inquire about something, you want to get feedback on something, you send emails to others. Okay. Email are typically informal in tone, short, and suggest that an immediate response is needed. Means that whatever you do, you want a very quick response. You send an email, and then they will get back to you as quickly as they can. Most businesses have an in-house computer network where employees can contact one another via email or IM, or we call it instant messages. So we sometimes through email we can use Google Mail, Yahoo Mail, Hotmail, those kinds of things. And previously we usually use IM, instant message, Yahoo Messenger, those kinds of instant message that can quickly contact. You can use it quickly to ask someone about something, about what you want. Okay. And then employees can use the internet to send emails to customers and clients. This is very important. They need to be interaction between the customer, the employees, because they want to know, they want to get the feedback, they want to inquire about something. So the use of emails. And emails are good to use when we have an established relationship with your client. Okay, please make sure that you have the correct email and then you write it properly to the client that you are intended. Don't send to all. It's very dangerous and you might get humiliated because of that, right? So good to use, but be careful of using, right? Another format for letters is faxes. Okay, so faxes we have used it before. They are now moving towards not use. They are not being used currently, as people prefer using emails. Okay, so faxes, remember, they are useful for saving time when transmitting documents, and in some cases a hard copy will be mailed after the document is faxed, just to be safe, right? So if you want to send a hard copy to another, they use faxes. Okay, and then we have voicemails such as instant messages, WhatsApp, and all those kinds of messengers. those are voicemail or instant messages. So it is an informal means of communication, but must be treated with respect, especially when you are contacting with other people who are not really close to you, right? Especially your clients or your boss. There is need to be, what we say, the tone should be appropriate. When you are talking to your clients, you should be very persuasive, and at the same time you are not being too informal, as well as you with your boss. When you talk with your boss, you will be more formal towards them, because you want to keep your job. Okay, so you must be careful. You can communicate towards instant messaging, but must be careful. So if you are leaving a voicemail, include pertinent information such as how can you be reached, etc., etc. How can you be contacted? When are you free? Those kinds of things, so they can get back to you as soon as you are available. So try to remember doing that. So letters, part 1. So whenever you are writing letters, the first impression counts. Okay, it reflects to the organization you are working for. So first thing first, use quality of paper. The quality of paper reflects how you conduct your business, right? And then the letterhead design, how the letterhead is designed. Is it like good? Is it clear? Is it shows your, what we say, your company logos very well, or it does it make it clear what your company is doing? So letterhead design is very important. Quality of paper, like I mentioned just now, make sure the paper is good. Use the appropriate size for each type, and then use paper that are thick rather than thin, which might can be torn just by writing. So just be careful. Use a thicker paper and a good quality paper. And then placement of the message on the page. Where do you put the message? Where is it? In the top? Is it in the bottom? Is it in the middle? So that is how you need to show that you are a professional. Okay, and then letter style. There are several letter style that you will learn through. You will look at that. That you should know which one you should use, either full block, or semi block. So the recipient determines what kind of letter style that you will use. So be careful, because some of them are used formally and some can be used informally. So make sure that your recipient, you know your recipient, and then use the appropriate letter style. Then, like I mentioned just now, paper, you choose good quality paper for important letters. You don't want suddenly they receive the letter, it is torn, it is like it's full of coffee marks, those kinds of things. It's dirty, so that is very unprofessional of you to use bad quality papers. So use good ones, branded papers, as long as it shows that you are really, your intention is very good. Okay, so let's look at the different styles of letters. So there are more, like 6, I think 5 or 6, but we'll look at the 3 most prominent styles of letters. So this, we have full block, semi block, and block. So for full block, the most common letter format, usually they use it in professional settings. Whenever you want to contact a new company or anything, you use full block. This is the most commonly used, and then it is the most safest choice of all. Okay, so the entire text is aligned to the left. You don't have any indentation, you don't have any like you move the block inside. No, everything in the left, and then close punctuation requirements. What is that? We'll look at that sample after this. Let's look at the semi block. Similar to full block, but more informal. So beginning of every paragraph is indented 5 character spaces, and paragraph separated by double space. You click the space button twice. Okay. The text is left justified, while the date and sign off are similar. Similar means that they are done in the same way. How? We'll look at the example. Don't worry. Okay. And then lastly, block. The paragraph indentations and single space separating the paragraphs will not include a salutation, but the recipient's name in the first line or the body of the letter. What does that mean? Yeah, I say we'll look at the example. So this is a full block format. So everything in the left indentation, okay? The address, the salutations, the name of the recipient, and then the body of your letter, and then we have the regards as well as your signature. Everything in the left. Okay, so this is a full block format. Remember, so whenever they ask you to write something like this, you have to follow this kind of format. Safest, most regularly used, and most commonly used, and then it will be very important for you to remember this because you might be tested on this. So bear that one in mind. Okay. Now we have semi-block. Compared to the full block, this is quite informal. It looks like a formal letter that you used to write. Okay. So you have the date at the right, and then the salutations in the left, and then indentation. You see, the I hope the starts a bit on the right compared to the rest which are in the left indentation. Okay, and then the rest is also the same. The next paragraph they have spacings, and then the format. Then we have the ending as well as the signature at the end. So this is semi-block. Compared to the full block, there are indentations, and then they are more informal. Okay, and then lastly we have the sample of block format. So this is very similar to a full block, very similar, but the difference is that the address, the date, and the name of the recipient as well as the signature at the bottom are on the right, while everything is on the left. Okay, so the right one is the address of your company, and then the left the address of the recipients. Well, this one is yours. Okay, well, actually scratch that, both are from you. Okay, so the address are there, the where the letter is from, and then the body of the paragraph, they are in the left indentation, same as full block, and then the salutations and the address at the right. Okay, do bear that in mind. Okay, so those three you will be tested on it, so make sure you focus and understand the difference between the formats so that you won't be confused on which format is which, and then you will be able to provide the correct format whenever you are required to provide it. Now, letters part 2. So you need to remember about the margin, spacing, and placement. Okay, usually when you are writing in Microsoft Word or something, the margins have been set accordingly, but if you are not certified, you need to arrange it. So remember, 1 each margin on either side of letter. Short letters, they increase the side margin. You add 2 inches or more. Use 2 inches or more. And then margins at the top and bottom edges, usually 1 to 1.5 inches. When using letterhead, start 1 inch below the logo. So you put the logo, then you put the letterhead, then you start below that. Okay, so that is a format. So usually when there are certain templates that you will have that will help you to write a correct letter, a correctly formatted letter. So you need to make sure that you are using the correct format. And then part 3, salutations, like hello and everything. Okay, when writing to individuals, always use their names and titles if appropriate. So address letter to female associates as Miss instead of Miss or Mrs. Okay, remember that. So if you know that a certain particular recipient or the client that you want to contact, maybe it's a person, you know the name of the person, the male or the female, address them appropriately. So if it's Mr., it's a man, call him Mr. Okay, if it's a female, then Miss, not Miss or Mrs. Okay, MS. The one MS, Mrs. If you are addressing an individual whose name you don't know, such as the purchasing manager, director, or human resources, president, etc., if you don't know the name, Cannot find it, call up the company and then ask for the name of the particular person that you are trying to contact through the letter. If you want to know about the name of the purchasing manager, call the company and then ask for the name. Okay, if you can find it online, that is even better. Okay. Part 4. Attention on subject line. They are placed between the address and the salutation. This is for the reader to focus on what are you trying to tell them about in the letter. Okay. So attention on subject line. You are after the address, before the salutation, you put it the attention or subject letter. And then complimentary close, always used in business letters like regards. So how do you close the letter? You use complimentary, close regards, best regards, those kind of thing. Okay. So those are complimentary close. Emails. After letters, we look at emails. So emails that you need to remember is that it is informal in the sense of language and format. Okay, it doesn't have to be like a very rigid format, or the language shouldn't be like very technical or something. But you need to remember there are certain things that you need to focus on. So the software program determines the exact format, such as we have the sender's name, the CC, subject matter. Okay, sender's name is you, your name. CC is carbon copy or who you want the email to be linked with, meaning that other people who are CC'd, CCED means that you want them to look at the email that you are sending to another recipient. Okay, they can look at it. Will get a copy of the email sent to the recipient. Okay, usually you will CC to your manager, your boss, those kinds of things, right? So that they have the proof of your email. Okay. And then salutation is optional. If you want, good. If you don't want to, up to you. Okay. But remember to follow rules for grammar and punctuation. That is very important for you to remember. Be polite. Be as concise as you can. Okay. So, how to write effective emails? Number 1, deal with one topic per email. You have 5 things to talk. You don't put every single thing in one email. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, 5 different emails. Okay. One email per subject rather than combining everything in one long email. We don't have time to read every single email. Okay. I mean, we can read every single email, but we don't have time to read one long email, which can be broken up into different emails, because usually emails are sent individually because they want to focus on particular thing rather than a lot of things. So whenever you write an email, just focus on one subject rather than 5 or 6. Okay. So the idea is that to make it easy for the addressee to respond one subject at a time. Okay. If you want to send 5 things, you just better go meet the person rather than you send an email. So one email, one subject. So the focus is clear, and then they will be able to respond well. Okay. When you combine subjects, one or more may be unintentionally ignored because they are focusing on, maybe you have 5 things. They are focused only 1, 2, and 4. 3 and 5 have been mistakenly ignored. Maybe they didn't notice that. So just one email, one subject. Should be enough, should be fine. If you want to other subject, then send another email. As long as you are not being disruptive to the other person. Number 2, send short messages. Okay. Limit the length so that it can be read on one computer screen. Okay. Do not write a novel there. Do not write any kind of very long essay there. You should be short but concise, clear, and the person can be able to respond to it quickly. Okay. Sometimes it is better to use bullet points in emails instead of a paragraph. Okay. Just put bullet points on the particular subject that you want to talk about, then send it. You don't have to like write a poem or anything. Okay. Be clear, short, and concise. Number 3, follow normal rules for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Avoid using symbols. Don't put like apostrophe. No, apostrophe yes. Don't put dollar symbol. Don't use percentage or anything. Just use properly. Okay. Avoid all uppercase words. Use normal uppercase and lowercase combinations. Okay. Don't put every single thing uppercase. You are not screaming to them. Okay. Use just write like how you are writing it. They say if you like a proper name, put like the first letter uppercase, then the rest are lowercase. Okay. Use appropriate fonts. Boldface and italic are used sparingly. You don't have to put every single thing in bold. Maybe if you want to focus on particular issue, then you put bold. Then you want to show that it is not very important, you put maybe up to you. Use italic in any kind of way that you think is appropriate. But don't use it too much, sparingly. Okay? Just enough to avoid being annoying. And then, use only acronyms that are standard in business. For example, FYI, for your information, ASAP, as soon as possible. Don't use acronyms that they don't use in business, like OOTD or done or something. Please use proper ones. You can use acronyms, but use proper ones that have been used in business. Okay, IMO, for example, in my opinion, or get back to you ASAP. So those kinds of things. So those are acronyms. You can look up acronyms that have been used in business, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Number 4, be conscious of email security issues. Emails are neither confidential nor secure, right? So many employers can check their employee emails, so keep the work email strictly business. Don't use your emails for anything else. Okay. Maybe you want to sign up for different for like Facebook or something. Don't use your work email. Use your own personal email. Okay, be careful. So, as well as be careful with emotions, anger, disappointments, etc. Once sent, the message can be read by many. For example, you use your email to gossip with your colleagues about a particular. Maybe you talk bad about your boss. Maybe you talk bad about the management. They can read that email, so you might be out of a job tomorrow. So, be careful. Use it strictly for work only. If you want to inquire about a question, then use your work email. If you want to sign up to various websites, up to you. Use your personal email. Okay, don't mix up your work with your personal life. And then we are back to memos. So memos are important, informal letters. So they are sent to from one employee to another within the same company. Okay, so that is the gist of memos. Very simple. So letter format, part 1. So parts of a business letter, we have the letterhead at the top of the letter. So your company have the logo and then the slogan and everything. So that will be part of the letterhead, which be on the top of the letter. And then they have the deadline, the date of the letter. And then inside address, the attention line, salutations, the greetings. Subject line is what you want to focus, the body of the content of your letter. And then complimentary closing, how do you sign off on your letter. And then the company signature, signer's identification. Then reference initials, enclosure, reminder, attach R or something, and then CC notation. So those are parts of a business letter. So it doesn't mean that you need to include everything, but following the format, make sure the necessary things are included in your letter. Okay. If not, you might have an incorrectly formatted letter, which might strike off you as unprofessional and untidy. Okay. So part 2, punctuation style. Regardless of the punctuation style, the only letter parts outside of the body to be followed the punctuation are salutation and complimentary closing. Okay, like when you are salutation, dear Mr. something something, then you have the comma there, right? That is punctuation. Okay. You want to show, you want to move into the body after that. Alright. And then postscripts or PS, P.S. Sometimes they want to tell you something after the letter, maybe at the end you want to add on, but it is best to avoid it. Okay. When you plan the letter appropriately, correctly, very well done, you don't need the postscripts. Okay. If you think that you missed something and you want to write, add it as in the postscripts rather than you edit the letter, which might make it messy and there's no coordination between the subject in this. So be careful. And then special paragraphing, quotation of prices or notation of special data, you can use a special paragraph for that. Maybe insert it in the deeper ones and then show it that's very different from the other block of paragraphs that you have. And then the envelope of the letter, okay, the ones that you put the letter in. So the address are in block form and then single space. You don't have to need to put a lot of spaces there. So you put the written address matching the letterhead that you have, and then they're usually printed on the business envelopes. So the envelope, you print the written address and then the everything that's the details that you need to include in the envelope. Okay. And then facsimiles, you include the recipient's name and then the sender's name. That is very important for you to include in your fax. Who sent you the letter? Who received the letter or the fax? That is important. So that is the end of the video. So we have looked at the format, we have looked at the letter styles, we have looked at what is email, memos, letter formats, and then the punctuation, those kinds of things. So hopefully this will be able to help you understand the concept of letters that have been used in business, which is very important for you to remember, because when you are working in any kind of organization or company, you will have to connect with each other. You have to interact with others in the form of letters or emails or memos. So hopefully this will be able to help you understand the concept of the letters and everything. If you have any question, you can just ask me about it. I will be available for you to ask. Thank you very much for listening to me. Have a good one. See you guys in the next one.